Names of MPs and MPLs handed over to SA Chief Justice. This is what happens next. Following the country's national and provincial elections held on May 29th, and the Electoral Commission of South Africa IEC declaring the elections free and fair, the Chief Justice has now received a list of names of who will make up the country's Member of Parliament MP in the National Assembly NA and Members of Provincial Legislature MPL. This list was officially handed to Chief Justice Raymond Zondo from the IEC chairperson Mosotho Moepya. This list will be then handed to the Secretary to Parliament in preparation for the first sitting of the NA, as well as the names of those who will make up the 9 provincial legislatures for their first sittings. Constitutional law expert Professor Pierre Devot explained that from these lists, a president and premiers will be elected at the sitting, which must happen 14 days after the election results were declared. This could only be hampered by court action to prevent any swearing-in attempts, he told Newsroom Africa. This process continues despite the disputes that have been raised following the elections. According to Devoir, this does not stop the formal declaration of results and the process that follows. Speaking to the media, Zondo explained that there will be the announcement of the first sitting of Parliament, then the sitting of various legislatures, the sitting of the National Council of Provinces, NCOP, and then the inauguration of the President, Deputy President, and Ministers. For now, no date has been set on when Parliament's first sitting will take place. Zondo ready for swearing in of parliamentary candidates. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says he is ready for swearing in of future MPs and members of the provincial legislatures. This means after the chairperson of the Independence Electoral Commission, Mosotho Moepya, handed over the list of future MPs and members of the provincial legislatures to the Chief Justice following a ceremony held at the Constitutional Hill on Thursday afternoon. Speaking during the ceremony attended by various members of the judiciary and other spheres of parliament, including chairperson of the NCOP, Amos Masondo, Zondo expressed his readiness to conduct the swearing, in which he said was an important function of the country's constitutional democracy to ensure a smooth transition between the 6th and the 7th administration. Zondo added that as expected, the judiciary is ready to play its role should anyone feel aggrieved and approaches the courts regarding the elections. I therefore want to simply say the judiciary is ready to play its role to make sure that our constitutional democracy runs as smoothly as it should. I know that not everybody agrees on certain issues relating to the elections. However, the judiciary will continue to play its role if there are any people who are aggrieved and approach the courts. But as things stand, the events that need to take place in order for our constitutional democracy to continue are going to continue, as the judiciary will play its role. Ahead of the handing over ceremony, parliamentary spokesperson Mosotho Moepya said Parliament is fully prepared and all the necessary arrangements have been made for establishing the new National Assembly. He also indicated that the first sitting of the National Assembly must happen within 14 days after election results are declared, and as per the norm, the Chief Justice will determine and gazette the date for this sitting. As part of the program, Zondo subsequently passed the list to the Secretary of Parliament, Olile George, in preparation for the first sitting of the National Assembly in 2 weeks' time. Meanwhile, the Controversies Party, MK, said it has written to the National Assembly NA Secretary to remove Jabulani Kumalo from the party's candidates list. Party spokesperson Tlamulo Ndlela told The Star on Thursday that the party would not take expelled members to Parliament. IEC chairperson Mosotho Moepya, who presented the final list of elected representatives for the National Assembly and provincial legislatures to Zondo, also thanked members of the Commission legislature. IEC chairperson Mosotho Moepya, who presented the final list of elected representatives for the National Assembly and provincial legislatures to Zondo, also thanked members of the Commission as well as all stakeholders, including the media, for their contribution to the elections. I take this opportunity to thank everyone, including Labour, the media and faith-based organizations, for their commitment in ensuring a free, fair and transparent election, which has been truly commendable. Chief Justice, and now present the final list of elected representatives for the NA and the 9 provincial legislators, he said. According to Motapo, after the swearing in of members, the Chief Justice presides over the election of speakers of the National Assembly, who must, in turn, preside over the election of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. The President of the Republic is the last to be elected by the House because the Assembly must be duly constituted first to exercise its power to elect the President. The Chief Justice presides over the election of the President, Motapo said. In the meantime, IFP and MK party causing up. In Durban, as the coalition talks are officially unfolding behind the scenes, the top brass of the IFP and Controversies party, MKP, are said to be edging close to clinching a power deal to govern KwaZulu-Natal. The province was hung with the newly formed MKP badging 45% of the votes and unseating the ANC as the ruling party in KZN, a position the ANC has held for 20 years after dislodging the IFP in 2004. The MKP won 37 seats in the 80 seats provincial legislature, while the IFP secured 15, the ANC 14, the DA 18, the EFF 2, and the NFP 1 seat. On Tuesday, senior leaders of the MKP met in Kandla, where MKP leader Jacob Zuma lives. We are having discussions with key political parties in KZN. We want to make sure that we have the right partners to govern this province, said an MKP leader, who is not authorized to talk to the media. We met in Kandla on Tuesday to talk about it. We are talking with many political parties, but our priority is the more than 12 million residents of the province, said an MKP member. While the MKP and the IFP are causing up, there are attempts to derail the would-be partnership. An IFP leader in KZN said there was a strong revolt inside the party amid speculation that the party was likely to band with the DA to topple the MKP. According to the leader, who wished to remain anonymous for fear of reprisal, the IFP was on the verge of collapse as members threatened its top brass with the mass resignations if it went into a coalition with the DA. I can tell you now that we will not go into any coalition with the DA. If that happens, the IFP will collapse. Many leaders are against that move, said the IFP councillor from Umsinga. The constitution stipulates that the government be formulated in 14 days following last week's watershed election. The Daily News understands that another meeting is expected to take place on Friday to be chaired by Zuma himself. MKP spokesperson Dlamulo Ndlela would not be drawn to commenting about the horse trading that is taking place behind the scenes. We can't disclose what's happening and who we are talking to, but I can say that we have discussions that are at an advanced stage, he said. There is also unconfirmed speculation that Zuma's daughter, Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, was also eyeing the position of premier in KZN. Another insiders who spoke to the Daily News said Zuma's nephew Mandla Xaba, a well-known Durban-based businessman, is also tipped to be the next premier. An IFP leader in KZN who did not wish to be named told the Daily News that the deal between the party and the MKP could see IFP provincial chairperson Tami Duli becoming the next MEC for cooperative government and traditional affairs or finance. IFP spokesperson Mkuleko Nhlengwa could not be reached for comment. Political analyst Professor Beki Mgomezulu said the likelihood of an IFP-MKP coalition rested on how the party's leadership agree. There are many parties that are talking behind the scenes, but it will all depend on what the senior leaders decide. But democracy should be at the center of all the coalition talks. Another analyst, Tobani Zikalala, said anything is possible at this point. We will have to wait and see what happens in the coming days. But the will of the people should be the common denominator in all the talks. And that's it from Injibs Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.